Hey y'all, this is Victor Haskins with the 4th lesson in the How to Improvise series. In this lesson we're going to learn how to improvise rhythmically over the entire form of Three Blind Mice, tying in what we learned and practiced over the last 3 lessons. But before we do that, I'm going to discuss with you some of the challenges we face. The first and most obvious one is that we now have an 8-bar form to work with, which is much longer than a 4 or 2-bar form. This means we have to organize ideas just a little bit more diligently in order for everything to make sense and come together like we want it to. And the second challenge is that we now have 7 pitches to work with over 8 bars. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, and A. All the notes of a B flat major scale. The danger is that we don't want to sound like we're jamming on a major scale over an 8-bar tune. Instead, we want to sound like we are creating new rhythms and new melodies using Three Blind Mice as the basis for that. So, how do we do this? How do we avoid sounding like we're just jamming on a major scale? Because that inevitably leads to us playing the same familiar patterns that our fingers know how to run. The way we do this is we utilize the sections that we've delineated the tune into. Over the last 3 lessons, we've talked about improvising over section 1, bars 1 and 2, section 2, bars 3 and 4, the collective section of 1 and 2, bars 1 through 4, and then the compound sentence section 5 through 8. Using this as a jumping point is really going to help us to organize how we add new pitches to our rhythmic improvisation. That way, we're not just randomly adding pitches and quoting parts of the melody. Those pitches actually become part of the new melodies we create by conjuring new rhythms. So we're going to practice this form the way we've practiced the last ones, where we take the entire 8 bars and we loop it over and over. And we're going to do this one a little bit differently so we can be a little bit more efficient with our practicing. In the first chorus of your improvisation, you're going to play the original melody and rhythms all the way through. In the second chorus, you're going to improvise, third, improvise, fourth chorus, improvise. Then in the first iteration of the next 4 loops, you're going to play the original melody and rhythms from only the first 2 bars of Three Blind Mice. Once you listen back to the recording, you'll be able to hear if those 2 bars lined up where they should have. For the rest of that first iteration of the next 4 loops, improvise. So you're spending more time improvising, less time playing the original melody and rhythms, which by this point you should be very comfortable doing. And then improvise, 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 and repeat. So I'm going to give you an example of that, and specifically when I give you this example, I'm going to try to show you how we might advance our practicing with each chorus of improvisation. So sticking more closely to the melody, adding more pitches and more complexity with the rhythms, and how I am using the tune as a way to improvise on the tune. You'll see what I mean in a second. Overlap. 2. So right there where I stopped was the top of the next chorus where I'll improvise entirely. So if you heard, I kind of took the first chorus improvisation and stuck more closely to the melody and added very few pitches, but then as the choruses went on, I added more rhythmic material, but you still could hear the melody of the original tune. In fact, not only did you hear the melody of the original tune in the individual sections, but you also heard I used part of the tune on different parts of the tune. Like I used part of the third section on section 2 and part of section 1. So I'm kind of using the tune and rearranging parts of it to create new melodies with other parts of the tune. But the integrity of the original tune, Three Blind Mice, is still there. But you just hear how the rhythms I'm adding and how the pitches I'm adding selectively are creating new melodies and new. I don't even have to go outside of the harmonic range of the B flat major scale, and I've already created a whole new world of a tune, a whole new story behind what the tune can do and sound like and be and feel. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get you to explore through rhythmic improvisation at this point. We haven't even begun to talk about style. Style will be the next thing we discuss. Naturally in my playing, when I'm playing, the style that I kind of have, the inflections and things that I do, will naturally come out. We're not really focusing on that. Style adds a whole nother level of expression and depth to the story that we're telling with our improvisation. But just taking rhythms and the pitches that we have available to us and improvising to create new melodies is such a powerful thing, and it's such a great and powerful concept to grasp. And once you kind of have that together, adding the other things and other elements and the more expressive elements will become easier and make more sense and kind of tie in where they need to. But really getting the rhythmic improvisation together is an important concept that I'm trying to get you guys to get. So that's this week's lesson. Once again, any questions or comments you have, leave it in the comment section below. And next week will either be the first lesson of style or might have one more thing with rhythm I might want to do. We'll see what happens. I guess next week will be a surprise. So I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.